I, as the leader of this business, am setting that standard. And you are too in your business. So whatever standard you're setting, you cannot let somebody else set the standard for you or dictate it to you. Do you want God's plan for your life? Do you want to discover your calling? Do you want to build a business that's aligned with God's will? Hey girl, hey! I'm Jeanette, business and faith coach. After a decade in the military, the Air Force said, see you later, and I had to find my true calling. Want to know how God directed my life from a cybersecurity engineer to a faith and business mentor? In this podcast, I'll teach you how to start a business, how to know your business is God's calling, monetization techniques, how to trust the Holy Spirit, and how to set boundaries to listen to His word alone. Ready to become unapologetically unstoppable? Hey girl, hey! I have been spending all week working on my SOP. Do you know what an SOP is? An SOP is a standard operating procedure. It's basically a checklist. It is the key to your business. 100%. I read this book a while ago, and basically, I can't remember the name of the book. I can't remember the author, which I'm normally really good about, but it basically was saying that you need to franchise everything. Like, it was saying how McDonald's was successful. It was saying how all these businesses are very successful because you get the same level everywhere you go. I know when I walk into a McDonald's what the level of food I'm going to get. And it's the same around the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that my order might get messed up. I know that, like, I'm going to have fries and there's a standard for the fries. I know all of these things, right? I want to know what I'm getting into when I go to this brand. And this brand is very recognizable. And for you to be very recognizable, no matter how big your business is, you also have to have standards. So to have a standard, you first have to have an operating procedure around that standard, right? So as you all know, or maybe you don't know, I don't know. If you don't know, I am in business right now at a very small level from a business that was at a very much higher level than I am operating at right now. And I forgot about standard operating procedures. I was in the military. And in the military, everything has a checklist or a procedure or a how-to guide or a notebook or a something. And there's also a checklist to check the checklist to make sure that you're doing it right according to how it was written. Okay? So in your business, you also need to have that. If you're going to expand your business, expand your reach, you have to know exactly how you're doing it over and over and over. So that way people who come into your business can take over for you for doing certain things. I spent so much time writing SOPs this weekend. I revamped my ClickUp space, which is it's like a tool to help me keep organized with all the tasks, task management, project management. So I went in ClickUp and revamped the whole thing. And then I did all of my SOPs for different things. And I've even got a list in there, a list on which SOPs I still need to create. Because when we're creating these standard operating procedures, it helps our business run smoother. It helps our business know exactly what we're going to do because we already have it written out. We don't have to remember how to create that thing in Depsado or that thing in wherever because I already have it. I already have it written down in a place where I can go back to it, or a video that I can go back to because that's the way my brain thinks, right? And so some of the things that are on my SOP manual that I'm going to be recreating are how to send a contract in Depsado, how to create podcast folders, how to onboard a new team member. And when I set these standards and I set these processes, this is what I'm going to do with everybody that comes into my business. And if not, then everything's going to get messed up, right? I've got a list of who's got what permissions, who's got this, who's got that, who needs this, what positions need this, what positions need that. And it just keeps everything organized. So when I grow, not if, when I grow, I know exactly who's going to be in those spots. Even though I've got all these different positions in my business and I'm doing 90% of them, I will be able to offload a position to somebody at some point in the future. I'm not going to have a this, and this in one person. I'm going to have a podcast manager, a podcast editor, a podcast creator of something, of images or graphics or something. Maybe I'll have a graphic designer overall. Maybe I'll have a sales copywriter and like a nurture copywriter. Maybe the person who's writing my sales pages is not the same people writing my emails. I don't know. I can dream big. But I do know this. I need to know exactly what I'm doing in my business in all the parts and how I'm doing that and the standard of which I want other people to do my business. I, as the leader of this business, am setting that standard. And you are too in your business. So whatever standard you're setting, you cannot let somebody else set the standard for you or dictate it to you. I have to admit that I forgot that because I was being confused about who I was. I forgot who I was in the sense of I am a badass business owner. I know exactly what I'm doing in business all the time. I know how to create businesses from nothing. I've done it several times and I just got stuck with, I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I do. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've done this. This is not a new thing for me. I've built businesses. So I don't know what I was thinking. I think sometimes that the devil likes to get into our head and convince us and deceive us of where we are supposed to be and who we are, who God designed us to be specifically, right? So I was watching Transformation Church earlier today. Transformation Church is there's a pastor called Michael Todd. He is the pastor of Transformation Church. You can find it on YouTube. It's great. I listen to a lot of different sermons on the internet, and he's one of them. He's one of the guys that I go to when I need some inspiration or I need God to show up. Because God shows up through him in a different way than he shows up through my pastor here in Warrensburg. Anyways, I was listening to him preach, and he was talking about how God designed us to have dominion and how the devil convinced Adam and Eve and deceived them that they do not rule over the things that God gave them in Genesis. God created the heavens and the earth, and he said, let us create man in our own image and give him dominion over everything that rules on the earth. That is our purpose. Our purpose is to be dominion, to have rulership over the things of the earth. And obviously, we need to be good rulers and good stewards of things, right? But Satan convinced them that they were missing out on something. He convinced them. He said, you know what? God is lying to you guys. You guys need to just go ahead and eat this fruit because he doesn't want you to be like him. We are like him. He created us in his image. But he set the standard. He has the rules. He said everything but this. So that's what I'm going to do in my business. In my business, I'm going to set the standard. I'm going to say everything like this. Do this like this. Otherwise, there are going to be repercussions, which means you might not have a job if you don't do what I say. Obviously, it's not the first step. You got to talk. There's even an SOP for that, okay? There's even an SOP created for how I'm going to talk to the people on my team and what that looks like. In the military, it was the escalation of what was it called? Escalation of discipline matrix. So that way you could say, okay, they did this, then this happens. They did this, then this happens. I did the same thing in my business because people make mistakes. Obviously, we are human beings. So I'm going to sit in my purpose and rule over my business. God gifted this to me. So I'm going to be a good servant of my business. I'm going to reign over my business, meaning I am the queen of my business. Everything falls under me because God gave it to me, because God gave it to me to steward while I'm here. And if I'm going to steward my business well, I'm going to put everything I have into it. I'm going to make sure that it is the creme de la creme that I can give it, the best that I can do. And so when you're in your business, you also need to make sure you're doing the best you can do every single day. My daughter homeschools, and I'm homeschooling my daughter. She doesn't do it by herself. And we have like sight words, and we've got handwriting, and we've got math. And sometimes I'll be doing my work and she'll be doing her work, and then she'll just be kind of like piddling around. She won't be doing it to the full of her ability. And I know that she's doing it because I see her just hanging out, just messing around, scooting around chairs in my office, making noise, like not really trying to work. And then I ask her, baby girl, I want to see your best work. And she always shows up when I ask her to do her best work. And it's not that she can't do her best work every single time. It's that sometimes it's easier just to slack off. It's easier to not rise to the occasion on every single thing I ask her to do. Sometimes she'll write her numbers back. She's 5. Sometimes she'll write her numbers backwards or write 41 instead of 14. And sometimes it's a mistake. And sometimes she's just not trying and wants attention. And I can tell the difference because I know her, just like God knows you. So when you make a mistake because you just made a mistake and you didn't do it on purpose and you're still trying your best, God knows. Versus when you're just trying to be good enough for government work. That's a term we use in the military, because it's really not the best. You're not doing your best. And I want to always make sure I'm doing my best in my business because my business is for God. This is His business at the end of the day. I don't own this at all. And neither do you. I don't want you to think that your car belongs to you and that the house you live in belongs to you. You are just a steward of the things that God has given you. You don't own nothing, girl. And as soon as you realize you don't own it, you don't have to worry about it. Because that's where I'm at in my life. I don't worry about my business and the fact of I'm worried about money coming in or money coming out. No, I keep track of it. I do the things I'm supposed to do for money coming in, but I don't worry about it. Because at the end of the day, this is God's problem. If God doesn't make this business work, that's on God because this is God's business. I'm just supposed to do what I can do and the best that I can do. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up every day in my business. I'm going to show up every day doing the things I can do. And if I can't do them, I'm going to find another hand or foot of Jesus to help me with those things because I can only do what I'm designed to do. And the sooner we realize that, the better off our business will be. Okay? Okay. Wow, that was so good. So I know that you know somebody that also needs to hear that. So share this episode, leave a review. And I would love if you could watch my free workshop at JeanettePeterson.com/missingpiece. I'll see you guys over on the grams at Jeanette.Peterson. Bye.